Hey everybody, I'm Akal Sahai with Be the Lighthouse, and today we're going to read the first part of one of my books called Shipwreck Diary. It's the first book in an awesome series. I had all kinds of fun writing. I wrote this in 1 month. The series itself, though, time travel, science fiction, fantasy, action, adventure, I mean, you name it, it goes there. But this, as the title, kind of pretty much says it all. That's literally what it is. It's written, in journal form, day by day. So I said, let's read a little bit of it. I'm almost ashamed to admit it, but I've gone and done the Gilligan's Island thing, and no, the skipper is dead, and there was no Gilligan. Note to self, always check references on your tour guide. Though, I don't really see what he could have done. No, it hadn't been a 3-hour tour. It had been a day trip out of Fiji. The 5 of us had set sail innocently enough to explore the South Pacific. The captain had enticed me and/or some of us with a chance to swim with wild dolphins, and thus out we went. We're a motley lot, to say the least. Willie is an angry teenager whose allegedly wealthy parents put her on the tour in lieu of a babysitter. Given her smug and superior demeanor, the rich parents' story is highly likely. The Howells, indeed, an eerie parallel for all the good it will do her out here. Yes, we do have a married couple, the Grays, who appear to be in their early 50s, and then there's Lena, a recently jilted brunette who I think came on the cruise to get away from something and drink her cares away. Given how many shipwreck and disaster movies there are, you would think everyone out here would have a satellite phone or something. We'd been out for about 5 hours when a massive storm suddenly materialized, and you can figure out the rest. The captain had been very diligent listening to the weather report on the radio, and it was all clear sailing, so that part was not his fault. He could have just been a little bit better prepared. Thankfully, I had my backpack with me, so I felt I was in pretty good shape. By my estimate, the storm had blown us around for 3 days, and it was a miracle the ship held together as long as it did, eventually being smashed to pieces on a reef just off our island. I wanted to call it Gilligan's Island, but thought better of it on account of my fellow castaways. Best to keep up morale and all that, right? My notebook was completely dry, and I wanted to get a few thoughts down while I had the time. The wreckage washed ashore along with most of the supplies on board, so we've got that going for us. We dug everything out of the surf and sorted it all out on the beach. I had my backpack on, and we all floated nicely with our life jackets on. Except the captain, that is. I don't really want to talk about that right now. Lena and Willie seem to have buddied up nicely, though it appears to be a case of misery loves company. The Grays are pretty quiet. Mostly they just sit there in the shade, his arm around her head on his shoulder as she sobs softly. We have enough fresh water to get us through today, as we were on a day trip to another island. The ship had lots of supplies, and most of us have a toothbrush and/or a change of clothes. The island is beautiful. It's like we're on the set of Lost, or better yet, 6 Days, 7 Nights. And yes, I watch a lot of movies. The captain lived on the boat, so we actually have a lot of supplies, as he kept it well stocked. I packed like I was going camping. I'm a writer. I definitely have something to write about now. I travel around to beautiful places and write. I'm so nerdy, I even have a waterproof backpack for all my technology. Laptop, phone, Bluetooth headset, and GPS, none of which does the least bit of good here. The GPS doesn't even have signal here, though it is loaded with world maps, so I'm going to use it to attempt to figure out where we are. I didn't need to physically see my inventory to know what all was in the backpack. It was still sealed when I reached shore. Flashlight, batteries, Oakleys, Life is Good, ball cap, sunscreen, vitamins, power cords, a change of clothes, my swim shorts, and one of my Survivor USB drives. I keep the others zipped in the left front pocket of my cargo shorts with my lip balm and nail clippers when I travel. My one-handed knife, notebook, pens, body wash, toothbrush, floss, toothpaste, and my flint and steel. I put the Oakleys and my hat on and took stock of our situation. The island is fairly good sized. Several very useful items washed ashore: a machete, a small axe, and some rope, along with a good bit of food and fresh water. I thought we were going to need more of the latter soon. Everyone seemed to be uninjured, so I set about gathering wood for a signal fire on the beach. I'm undecided about burning it during the day, but definitely at night. After a few trips in and out of the jungle dragging branches and logs, Jack came to help me. His real name was Randy, so I have no clue how they evolved into Jack, but I decided not to ask. Joan is his wife. They seem like they're from the city. He's very quiet, but takes direction well and is a good worker. We definitely need the wood. I don't want to think about how long we might be here. Once the storm had begun, I powered off my phone and put it in my pack along with my sunglasses and hat, then buckled it around my waist. There were plenty of life jackets and emergency equipment on the boat, most of which was smashed to pieces on the reef. The radio had long since ceased functioning and the skipper had been killed in the crash. My phone would easily last 6 days or more in airplane mode. I periodically powered on to take a few pictures and then turned it back off. Lena and Willie haven't done much other than huddle together and cry. I don't see what I can do for them, so I'm setting off in search of food and fresh water. Jack will make sure everyone has something to eat. I'm guessing Willie is somewhere between 13 and 15. I can't really tell, and all the ladies look cold and or scared, so I decided a fire would warm them up and hopefully lift their spirits as well. It looks to be a warm day today, but I built a fire anyway, away from the surf/tide, but still on the beach, and it would give us a common area, establishing camp as it were. After about a 4-hour hike, I had located fresh water and multiple sources of both coconuts and pineapple. I'm the most excited about the latter, as I love pineapple. I also made a rough map of the island. I'll explore more in the afternoon, but right now I want to get back to the camp for lunch. I'll be back soon. Evidently a good bit of alcohol also washed ashore because Lena is stone cold drunk and Willie is covering her in sand. So I've got that going for them. I hope Lena brought something other than long dresses and heels, otherwise she might have a tough go of it. She'll need real shoes to go anywhere very far from the beach. Speaking of the beach, Jack and his wife seem to be doing well. I left a few coconuts and pineapples I'd been able to carry with them and looked for something to carry more in. Jack emptied out what appeared to be an overnight bag, and after sharing a pineapple with them, I headed back out in another direction. I've made updates to my map as I've hiked. By my guess, the island covers several square miles. My goal is to find the highest point on the island and use my GPS to attempt to figure out where we are. For all the good it will do us, but one thing at a time. First, I need to explore the island, locate all sources of water and food, then find or create shelter for us. The island is significantly larger than my initial estimate. It will likely take several more days of exploration to get a good feel of the area. 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the afternoon is probably enough exploration time. The rest of the day I can dedicate to the camp. Jack and Joan seem to have the fire and wood situation well in hand. What concerns me, though, is I've yet to discover any creatures larger than a seagull. There's more than enough fauna to support life, and I've yet to discover any signs of humanity, though I will keep exploring. There's plenty of fruit on the island, which suits me fine, as I'm a vegetarian anyway. My fellow castaways will simply have to make do/adapt. I wonder, though, what they would say about it all. I'll ask them when I get back to camp. I've discovered epic waterfalls, spectacular cliffs, and several amazing beaches. We also need a latrine, I realize with a sigh. I'm living in a postcard. I won't say there's no hope, but I don't see how anyone will ever find us. How could an island this large be so completely devoid of human activity? In this day and age, how is it even possible? Could it be that we are simply that far from anywhere, and where even is here? Part of me would still like to figure the latter out, though I don't see what good that would do us. Without any navigational aids, we would just sail forever on any kind of raft we could build, and given the limited supplies of food and water we would be able to take on board said raft, we'd be dead before we got anywhere. That's a happy thought, isn't it? No, our best course of action is to stay here, keep the signal fire burning, and wait for rescue. What if it never comes? What then? Well, we stay here. It's not an appealing thought, but it's the reality of the situation. I enjoyed my hike, just not my thoughts. If not for the mortal peril we are truly in, this would be paradise. I take that back. We have plenty of everything except toilet paper. If this were Demolition Man, we could use the 3 seashells, though in the film it's never explained how to use them. Sanitation and lack of medical supplies are also concerns. We have plenty of sand and water, and no, I don't have any answers after that. We'll make do, I said to myself, with a sigh. It felt like a lie, but at least we have plenty of food, so we won't go all Donner Party. Though what about Lord of the Flies? I know, I'm thinking too much. Okay, so I'm back at the beach now. Lena is passed out in the sun and probably getting sunburned. Willie now has a tiny bikini on and is sunning herself, and Jack and Joan are piling wood near the fire. Okay, great, self-starters, I like that. I found a plastic jug that had contained some manner of solvent and cut it into a scoop. I then located a large rock a couple of 100 yards downwind of camp and dug several holes on the other side. It's right off the beach, fairly straightforward. You fill in the hole as you go. Get it? Shipwreck humor. I figure we'll all feel better after a good night's rest, which shouldn't be difficult after getting thrown around that tiny boat for 3 days. I wasn't really hungry, yet I decided Joan should be in charge of the food, mess officer as it were. Jack is supplying officer and leaving Willie and Lena to do whatever they want, which is all they do anyway. Willie takes whatever she wants, then discards it wherever she likes for the maid to clean up. I'm not sure what to do about that, but now is not the time to deal with it. Reality will set in for her soon enough. Speaking of which, wherever we are, we're far from civilization. The sky is perfectly clear here. I'm not sure whether that's good or bad. The South Pacific is filled full of countless small islands like this one. We literally could be anywhere. Why are there no signs of human occupation? Where are we? Someone had to have been here at some point. Where did they go and why did they leave? My backpack is my pillow, yet sleep does not come, but I'm resting comfortably. The fire throws a nice light for me to ride by. The waves crash peacefully. Lena is sound asleep. Willie covered her in sand again. Oh well, it should keep her warm. Jack and Joan fell asleep cuddled together, and I pondered what it is to be married in a committed relationship like that. I have no idea. Lena didn't really talk much before the storm. She just kept offering me drinks. I don't drink, so we didn't seem to have much in common, and she kept to herself after that, mostly looking off into the distance. She somehow managed to maintain a 3-day drunk during the worst storm I've ever seen without getting sick all over the place. It was highly likely she would sleep all day tomorrow as well. I didn't mention Lena for any reason other than her relationship hadn't gone well. Like many, it had simply gone. They do that. You move through life, going wherever the pen takes you, traveling to some new place that inspires you. At least that's what I've been doing anyway. I realized I could probably spend the rest of my life right here on this beach just riding away, irregardless of whether or not anyone ever reads any of it. In some ways, I'm married to my pen, though it's not much on conversation. I've never really thought about my writing. It just comes to me and I write it down. My publisher will be expecting to hear from me soon. I probably have several texts and emails waiting for me already about my next book. I read a lot these days, having finally transitioned to writing professionally. I love it. I was in the middle of another book when this castaway thing began, and here we are. Lena stirred, though she seems to have fallen back asleep. If she's an alcoholic, we could have a serious problem on our hands, like we don't already. If being out of cookies is a problem, what do you call this jam we're in now? Jam. Toast would be nice right about now. Oh well, I literally live on pineapple anyway, so what does it matter? That's the end of day one. It does turn into a much more of a comedy soon, but I hope you all enjoyed that. Maybe we'll read more soon. Anyway, thank you for listening, and you all have a great day.